Booktube, it's Stephanie. Today I'm going to share with you some of the non-fictions that are on the top of my TBR. Now this video was one that I was supposed to have filmed a while back because slump and I didn't read anything or do anything. We are doing it now, so you will get this video in December. Same thing with my what books no wait, let's do that part over again. All the books that I have that are middle grade, that's coming up in December as well, but I will start with two honorable mentions. So these two are honorable mentions because, while I do think that they are on the top of my TBR when it comes to my non-fictions that I own, they scare the shit out of me and I don't want to pick them up. But they are on top of my TBR, it's just they are not some that I think that I will actually pick up and read anytime soon. The first one of those is Sokkiv Circuit by Elin Bomenel. This is a essay book, or how the author got her doctorate. And this one talks about how, basically, how do we know that sugar is dangerous to teeth? And it was a bunch of experiments with sugar that was done on patients that lived at the Vipeholm, and yeah, they were people with mental problems who had like autism and things like that, and they did not really get a say in participating or not. The persons who worked there did, but yes, this is, when I hauled this I got really emotional because my baby brother is autistic. And he would probably have lived at this place because it's like 20-30 minutes away from where I live now. So yeah, it's on the top of my TBR, but I'm way too scared to actually pick it up. I will one day, I don't know when. The next honorable mention is another one that's a heavy topic. This one personally for me is not as heavy as the one with the sugar experiments on autistic children, and that is Slavhandel och slaveri under svensk flagg by Holger Weiss, which the title would translate to, the title for this one would be The Sugar Trials, or The Sugar Trial, but this one would translate for Slave Trade and Slavery on the Swedish Flag. And this one talks about the when Sweden bought an island who became like a hub for the slave trade in the Caribbean. Heavy topic, but personally not as emotional as the other one. But again, it is intimidating because suffering is never fun to read about. So I have 7 books here. Do I? Yes, I have 7 books here that I will talk about. So let's start with this one. I got this last year, A Terrible Thing to Waste, Environmental Racism and Its Assault on the American Mind by Harriet A. Washington. This talks about how things like lead paint and things like that, and basically pollutions that are pretty common in houses, that for the majority at least of, when you look at percentage, has been cleared out or sanitized when it comes to people with Caucasian descent or European descent, but when it comes to the black population and the Native American population, that has not really happened. And I don't really, and then it's also like the protections and things like that are not set up properly, and yeah, are not sanitized and things like that. I don't really know, I haven't really read this synopsis in a while, but yes. And it talks about the effects that these pollutions have, which one of the ones that are talked a lot about here on the back and on the flap is lead poisoning, which was why I put that as an example, because it is proven that lead poisoning does affect the brain. So yes, this is definitely one of the books that are top of my TBR. Then we have one that I recently purchased, and that is Draca by Johan Egerkrans. I think that this video will come up before my November haul, but I got this signed edition, and this is about, the title translates to dragons. That's it. So It talks about dragons, and I just love his illustrations. But yeah, he writes these non-fiction books which talks about different topics. This one about dragons, and yes, I do have other books about dragons, and I've read other books about dragons. Does it look like I care? The next one we have is a Morph, is another fun one, and that is Jag så här, or the English title, which is How to: Absurd Scientific Advice for Common Real-Life Problems by Randall Monroe, which is just what it says, like grammar. But yeah, so it has like things. Yeah, basically the author has a blog where he answers questions about physics, and the first one was more actual questions with his answers, in some cases very short, in other cases pretty long. This one I don't really know how this is put up or anything like that, but I'm looking forward to reading this. And this is another one, just like, well, that one is new, but why haven't I read this? Because I haven't really been reading nonfiction. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I will just keep on saying that. Then we have one where I have apparently put a bookmark in it. And that's probably a wink to myself to say, read it. And that is Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, which is about how Homo sapiens, our race, or our species, I guess. Yeah, species. I needed to think about translations. But yeah, so this is about how humans evolved and how our species of human is the one that's still around, because there used to be 6, apparently. But yeah, looking forward to this one. But I've owned this for over 2 years, and I haven't, I think even 3, and I haven't really picked it up. But this one has gotten so much acclaim, both in reviews and people talking about it, and I do own the other 2 books that kind of follow up after this one, as I cover the book with my head. Then we have one that I was really excited for to read, which, why do I keep on saying that? Doesn't matter, but it's Psychic Witch, Metaphysical Guide to Meditation, Magic and Manifestation by Matt Oren. Now, it's what it sounds like. Now, I have recently gotten back to it, to this part of my life, because I found pieces from it, and I'm so excited. That's what happened when you actually pack up your bags from when you moved. But yeah, I basically wanted some updated information, and this was highly recommended. Don't really know what to say about it actually, but I do want to read it. It is on top of, at least when it comes to this category of books, this is definitely one of the books that are definitely on the top of that list. The next one is another Swedish one, and that is Allt är gift, om dödliga ämnen och deras roll i historien by Ulle Mattsson. The title would translate to Everything is Poison, and that's basically what it's about. It's about poisons and how things like, for instance, 6 liters of water is lethal for us if we drink it all at once. So yeah, and I'm looking forward to it. I really want to read this. I just haven't, and I got it 2018 because that was when it came out, and I still love this cover. I think I've talked about this book in a cover video before, but yes, I really want to read this. Or maybe I've talked about it in another nonfiction video. I don't remember, but this would be my second one in that case. And then this would be the second time it's in on that. Well, that's embarrassing. And then the last one is a funny one, and that is How to Invent Everything, a Survival Guide for the Stranded Time Traveler by Ryan North. And yeah, that's what it's about. It's basically a humorous, if you get stranded in this timeline, how to fix your time machine, how to blend in and things like that. It's kind of like so you created a wormhole, but a bit more oomph. This one I really want to read again. Like with everything of these books, why do I keep on mentioning it? And well, the funny part is that if we exclude the improbable, something like that, element of time travel, like all the things that are talked about are like things that you can actually do, which is the part where I think is hilarious in all of these books. But yeah, another one that's on my list of I want to read you. Yeah. So those are these 7 books with 2 honorable mentions. I could have made this list really, really long. Like I had to stop myself and put some books back, and yeah. So yeah, those are the 7 books that are on the top of my nonfiction TBR. When it comes for me and nonfiction, I need to be in the mood for that type. So just because, yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to updates my knowledge and the books, because I've cleared a lot of it out because it was from the 2000s. And some of them were like extremely Wiccan based, which I'm not Wicca. But I'm not in the mood to read that kind of book, which is why I haven't read it. Same thing with this one, or that one, or that one, or any of these. I actually haven't really been in a nonfiction mood, which is a bit sad, and if I read it, it has been because, oh, this one seems to go fast. Do you have any nonfiction on the top of your TBR, or do you have some really good recommendations of nonfiction that you really enjoyed? Please tell me down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!